Greenland is the biggest to feed their population. Yeah, because some country they have the fossil fuel, coal, you know. Some country they have, the forest, the farmland, or the water to fish, fishing. Yeah, the best way, combat the climate change. It means the poor country need you have the family plan. Yeah, because you poor, right? When you poor and you don't have the family plan, it means you have a lot of population. When you have a lot of population, it means you deforest, and you know you exploit a lot of natural resources. Yeah, and you use a lot of fossil fuel, that cause the climate change, rising temperature. Yeah, you see the developed country, you see they only have one or two children. The average they have less than two children. But why the poor country have three or four? It doesn't make sense. Yeah, it's the best way. I remember a long time ago when I was a kid, the population only about less than 5 billion. Now, over 8 billion, almost double. No, if you have money, or you have support from your family, you can have more children if you want. But if you cannot afford, just have two. That's it. Because when you have two, you can take care them, good, and you can enjoy your life. Yeah. That's all for the video today. I hope you guys like my video. Bye bye.
This confirms the overall trend. Politico previously wrote that Moscow's failure to protect Venezuela, Iran, and Cuba marked the end of an era for Putin's great power project. Recall, Russian propaganda has begun to justify the violent overthrow of the government in Venezuela. On the Russia 1 channel, hosts effectively justified Washington's operation and shifted responsibility for the failure of Russian air defenses to the Caracas authorities. On the Vesti Nedeli program, propagandist Dmitry Kiselev claimed that U.S. actions do not undermine international law, but merely reflect a new world order. He claimed that U.S. President Donald Trump is simply stating what the West has been doing for decades. Kiselev emphasized that Trump openly acknowledges the priority of force and national interests over international law, unlike European leaders who, in his opinion, hide behind hypocritical rhetoric about democracy. The broadcast also addressed the failure of Russian air defense systems in Venezuela, which failed to interfere with the American military operation. Propagandist Vladimir Solovyov stated that the failure was due to the actions of the Venezuelan side. According to him, dictator Maduro's military did not allow Russian and Chinese specialists to service the supplied systems, which is why the systems were effectively left without full support. Western media, however, offer a different version. According to the New York Times, some Russian air defense systems were never deployed and were stored in warehouses. The publication sources suggest that the Kremlin's failure to use these systems may have been a deliberate move to avoid a direct conflict with the United States.